Hey there guys, what is up? Welcome back, it's Maverick here today with the finale of Chainsaw Man. Indeed, this is the last episode, although certainly I am expecting a second season for this. Like, this is a super popular work, it's very well animated, it's got all the things going for it. I would be shocked if there wasn't a second season here. But we're kind of getting ahead of ourselves. I'll check later on if something has been announced yet. For now, where we last left off, Haika was in a little bit of a pickle, right? Even though he's got some power-ups, foresight and all that, precognition, doesn't really change the fact that he's still a puny human being, right? So how's he gonna get out of it? Bets on Denji, bets on power, maybe Makima, maybe someone else, and hey, maybe Hayakawa will help himself. In any case, let's get into the episode. Alright, let's begin in 3, 2, 1, play. Oh, opening or flashback? Oh, flashback. Huh. This is like a different POV from Himeno's memories, right? Meh. Look, guys, if you're old enough to, risk your life, kill things, and so on and so forth, you're old enough to do whatever you want to fucking do. Hmm? Why was he released? Oh, he cut it? What? How's that even possible? Easy revenge? Wait, so what? But yeah, very soon. Less than 2 years, eh? But why though? Okay, I need some. I'm gonna need some. I'm gonna have to think about that for a while. Like, why? What? Sorry, I'm just still trying to process like what exactly happened there and why things turn out that way. Like, I was kind of sort of spoiled by some people that Devil's dying doesn't really mean too much to them. So, I guess maybe that's part of it? I'm not... Okay, you know what? Let's be dingy for a moment, right? Stop thinking, just enjoy it. Just enjoy the vibes. I gotta admit though, it's kind of bothering me. We'll talk more in the, in the musings portion about that part. Uh-huh. Okay, so I guess bring her in for interrogation? Why not eat him? Oh, more zombies. I guess power knows her power. Then he's just like, you go do your thing. Okay, so I guess Denji is off for a one-on-one against Samurai Sword. You kind of sort of like picked the wrong person to negotiate with. Are you really the son of a Yakuza dude? Just punch him already, Denji. That was, I guess, supposed to be an ad break right there. Yeah, I do find it like quite like I don't know why that they have like pretty much the exact same sort of design. Like was it fate? Was it irony? Oof. Nice. I love how they're using like the entire city as their battleground, right? This honestly feels more like, one of those scripted video games where you just jump over here and over there and whatnot. For boobs, man! They're really trying to flex their animation skills here with these fighting scenes, right? A moving train with moving scenery, and then having like a choreograph, this fight choreography. Yeah, they're just flexing their animation skills at this point. Well, I guess he is a samurai, right? Though honestly, his two arms look nothing like samurai blades. Tis but a flesh wound. Oh, did he actually? Was he actually able to catch it this time? Honestly, you talk way too much. He actually used his head. Figuratively, not literally. I guess that training did pay off, right? I mean, he was already quite talkative even when he didn't lose, so I think that's just him. I mean, as long as he's still alive. So how far can he beat him up before he's turned in? And he's like, should I do this or should I not? He's in. He's in. Oh, come on, you're gonna be in. And I guess this kind of ties into the opening, right? Like I told you guys, there's definitely. I know that it's supposed to be like it's supposed to be, you know, a collection of like famous movie scenes, cult movies, and whatnot. But honestly, that entire thing is just a balls joke. Like, if you really pay attention, it's just a balls joke. Golden balls, Kintama, yeah. Hey. Oh, we're ending already? Yes. Do tell. Oh, from what? From where? From who? Huh. Hmm. I guess this is like again foreshadowing for the second season, right? Right, is this like an ending, or is this supposed to be like a part of the end of the episode? This feels more like an ending, right? Oh, Eve. Okay. Whoa. They actually had sushi. All right. I also find it kind of funny that they use Eve, right? Jujutsu Kaisen also used Eve as their opening, I think. Kind of forgot. Oh, actually, never mind. This is not just an ending. It actually ties in with the rest of the episode. Okay. I guess that was sort of like their celebration for making out. You know, they're still alive and the division still goes on, right? All right. So are you finally gonna smoke that last one now, or did you already smoke it? Yep. Last one. I love how in this scene they take care to put in all the ambience voice as well, right? The background noises, the plane in the background, helicopter, the car going past, the sound design aspects, right? Even though it's literally just Hayakawa sitting there smoking, reminiscing, not even a monologue. Oh, and this ties back into the very first episode, the beginning of the very first episode. Oh yeah, like why? Okay, so in the end, it actually turned out to be a dream or a pseudo dream or something of that sort. All right, I almost completely forgot about it actually. I guess this is. Oh, well, that was horrifying. I thought there was gonna be like a jump scare or something. What? I mean, I guess they are very, very confident that there's going to be a second season, so they can just do whatever the hell they want with the ending here. Anyways, I will see you guys after this. Alright guys, there we have it, the grand finale of Chainsaw Man. Now, unfortunately, I did not see any news or anything about a season 2, but come on, like I said at the very beginning, I think it's a foregone conclusion at this point with the amount of hype, the amount of production, and whatnot. Like, the studios are betting on this, right? And with that kind of ending, I think it's just obvious that there's going to be a continuation, a follow-up to this, right? Now, before we get into all that, let's talk about this episode, right? And more specifically, especially in regards to the Ghost Devil, because try as I might, I still can't quite figure out, like, what that scene was supposed to signify or mean, or how exactly that worked, question mark? So, you know, I guess we can kind of infer that the Snake Devil has some sort of ability to you know, after it eats a devil, maybe turn it to their side instead, or maybe it was a case where a contract was formed between that girl, that lady, with the devil, right? But if that was the case, though, then how exactly, like, I just don't get, like, why that scene happened there, where the Ghost Devil stopped attacking Hayakawa and in fact even actively helped him. So there's a few interpretations here, right? Like, one is especially with what Hayakawa was saying, you know, like, the Ghost Devil uses fear to see. So I mean, I guess it's implied that if you don't fear it, then it can't see you, so it can't attack you, right? Something of that sort. But then two more questions comes up, right? One is, so why isn't there any fear in Hayakawa's heart? Like, you know, a scene ago, he was still literally being attacked by the Ghost Devil, and then one scene later, he's not. Was it because of his flashback? So suddenly all his fear disappeared because I guess he just thinks he's going to meet Himeno in heaven or hell or wherever, whatever kind of afterlife they have, and so all fear disappeared? Is that what's being implied here? But even so, right? Even so, then the second question appears. It seems that not only, you know, I could get the situation if the Ghost Devil would just you know, just simply stopped attacking and stopped doing anything, but then it actually handed Hayakawa the cigarette, right? So that to me implies that it's actually actively helping Hayakawa. So how exactly does that work, right? Did it, and if it was already actively helping Hayakawa at that point in time, so it can still have you know, it's not bound by any specific term, any sort of contract or any sort of obligation to do harm to Hayakawa, then why did Hayakawa need to be beheaded? Like, right? Like, I don't quite get it. Like, what was the whole meaning of that? Like, if somebody, you know, I'm sure that there's many manga viewers here. If somebody can fully explain to me, like, what that was supposed to be, please let me know. Because I just don't think, like, obviously there's different interpretations of it. It's either, you know, he, or maybe this might be, like, one last parting gift from Himeno, right? Maybe she set this up before she died, right? And so that's kind of, like, why everything happened there. But if that's the case, then why exactly does Hayakawa need to explicitly say that entire thing about being able to see fear and not being able to see anything else? Like, what was that all about, right? You know, I think that would, to me, that makes much more sense than my first theory. You know, the second theory where Himeno maybe, like, already put this as a failsafe or something before she died, right? But if that was the case, then why would Hayakawa need to say those, have that monologue in regards to how the Ghost Devil can see, if it's really not related to anything, right? So yeah, that's kind of like my point about all of this. So it's not that there's no suitable explanation there, it's just the way that things went down kinda sorta is weird. That's all I can say about that. And then, you know, after that, later on, we get into the Denji and the samurai sword fight. You know, again, I still feel like, I've said this before, I still feel like a hilt, the sword hilt sticking out the back of your head kind of looks funny. And, like, come on, his arms, literally, they're not even samurai swords anymore, right? They're not really swords. They're more like, those swords are, I think I've seen some swords that are used to, like actually cut down horses or whatnot. You wouldn't really call it, like, a katana or anything. But I guess technically he's not called katana. He's not called katana, man. He's called samurai sword. So maybe it implies that any kind of sword is viable. Okay, I get that. And you know, they have that little fight there. To me, the most impressive thing, you know, animation wise about this entire about this entire episode was definitely that scene there with Denji and Samurai Sword fighting again. I love how they went from building to building, and then even went on to a moving train, and the train moving and them fighting at the same time. Like, that is some complex choreography there. So they're really flexing their animation skills in that scene. And I think the train is actually sort of like half CGI though. I'm not entirely sure, but it seems that they used various techniques to blend them all together in order to create that scene. But definitely that's the standout point for me. It's very technically impressive, let's put it that way. And really is them flexing their skills. The actual fight itself, yeah, I never really like a villain or antagonist that likes to talk their heads off. So, this entire time I was like, Denji, please shut him up already. And I'm glad that he delivered at the very end, right? And not only that, but he's using something he learned from Kishibe, right? So, hey, he's using his head, and just like I said, not literally using the chainsaw on his head, but figuratively. He's actually using the things in there, his brains, in order to turn around the situation. So, I dig that. I've never been a big fan of dumbass main characters, and Denji being able to turn the situation around, especially in with some foreshadowing as well. Definitely nice. And so yeah, good on him. The I guess conclusion of that thing with them like kicking the balls of the guy, and it is what it is. Like, I have no qualms about that whatsoever, to be honest. And I suspect that very few people like come on, this is, I've said it before, but we judge series and we judge the actions based on the circumstances, right? And I feel like in a world where there are literally devils around killing people and whatnot, we don't really need to care so much about the morals or political correctness of the modern day and age. So I'm glad that they actually went for it in the end. And once again, it's kind of sort of like one big foreshadowing as well, because once again, in the opening, like, yes, I know it's referencing lots of different movies. They're drawing, they're referencing different scenes and all that. I get it, right? But overall, like, I think I said from the very first episode, that entire opening thing is just set up to make a balls joke, all right? With the golden ball and them bouncing it back and forth, and then eventually like Denji, or was it actually I think it was Aki, right? Hayakawa breaking an egg, right? That literally, that entire opening is just to make a balls joke. And so you could say that culmination of it is in this scene here where they were kicking the balls of the guy in. So there we go, another point of foreshadowing. So I dig that. And then finally we have, I guess, Makima sorta summarizing everything up and whatnot. Too bad that didn't really give us a location or anything. I would have liked to know, like, where they were going next in order to try and catch the elusive gun devil and what other stuff that they are planning. But I guess it keeps things nice and mysterious, so we have something to look forward to, right? Now, whether, actually... Okay, I was thinking like whether or not that girl was actually killed by the Gun Devil, or maybe she was actually killed by Makima, but I think it makes more sense that the Gun Devil killed her. So I guess, that it is what it is, right? And then finally at the very, very end there, once again, I mentioned a little bit about the Hayakawa smoking scene, and once again, and this time it's them flexing their sound design skills instead. But I mean, technically it's not really all that hard. It's just that putting in the extra effort in order to make the scene more authentic and fill in the silence, fill in the gaps and whatnot. I do enjoy like that kind of attention to detail here. So just a quick mention about that. And then finally at the very end there, with that lady walking in, I'm assuming she's the one called I think it's called Rize. Like, because I saw her in the credits, and that's it. And I'm guessing that's her, right? It sounds like Ueda Reina, and in the credits, it's Ueda Reina. So I'm assuming, like, that's her. And, is she important? Is she, like, an old acquaintance of Denji or whatnot? She sounds like she knows him. So, yeah, I guess more details from Denji's past, and maybe this will tie into, like, why the Gun Devil is so intrigued by Denji, I guess. And then also having that like dream and whatnot. So clearly this is something that's been surrounding Denjin for a long time already, right? It's not just a case of after after he combined with Pochita and then catching the attention of the Gun Devil. If he was already in this kind of situation and already having these weird dreams when he was young, it seems to me that there's more to Denji than just what we've seen so far from his story and how he turned out this way. Sorry, not how he turned, like his circumstances and how he turned into this sort of like devil human hybrid and so on and so forth. And that's not really the sole reason why the Gun Devil is interested in Denji. So I guess that much we can infer from this. I could be completely wrong, but what I'm seeing on screen is I'm guessing that's the situation here. And yeah, I think that's pretty much it. I haven't really missed anything else, right? Yeah, I think that's pretty much it. So, yeah, and that concludes this season of Chainsaw Man. So, how about an overall recap? How do I think of it? I enjoy it. Like seriously, I do enjoy it. It wasn't quite what I expected, in the sense that I thought it was going to be pure gore and blood and whatnot. And don't get me wrong, there are bloody things, but honestly, it's not even done that distastefully. I never was I in a situation where I felt like, oh, this is gross, ooh, this is something I can't really watch or something. I think as far as gore and blood goes, it's there, but I actually still think it's quite tame compared to some other stuff, right? So the way that even when they draw the limbs being chopped off or whatnot, it's all done quite, I don't know, I wouldn't really say tastefully, but it's shrouded in a way so that you don't feel too much of it, right? And it doesn't really, and because all the limbs being broken off and whatnot, they're typically monster-fied hands or whatnot, so you don't really get the same sort of feeling when you see an actual human hand or whatnot, or human limbs being torn off. It's not that kind of a feeling, right? The main character is definitely someone I can like. Like I said, I'm not exactly a big fan of these sort of kind of dumbass, happy-go-lucky main characters, but Denji's, I think, compared to normal shonen protagonists, the fact that he doesn't have any qualms whatsoever about justice or whatnot, he just does what he wants. To me, that makes me like him a lot more, right? You don't really have to be so patronizing and whatnot. You want to go for boobs, you want to live a good life, go for it, man. Just go for it. You don't need to pay attention to the villains or antagonists trying to guilt trip you into doing anything. Just do whatever the F you want, right? So I do enjoy that aspect about Denji. He is still cringe sometimes, but overall, I think he is a very likable main character. And in fact, I think I do prefer. No, because like I've said before, there's an obvious comparison to Jujutsu Kaisen, right? I think compared to Yuji from Jujutsu Kaisen, I actually prefer Denji a little bit more. Yuji isn't bad. Don't get me wrong, he's not really your typical shonen kind of justice kind of protagonist either, right? But I think I love the just no fucks given style of Denji. So that to me is a plus. And then obviously we got Hayakawa and power and all that, and yeah, whatever, right? But I think it's quite clear from you guys who've been watching me that my favorite is definitely Makima, which I suspect that most people probably love as well. She's definitely a major focal point of the show and whatnot, and to be honest, knowing that she's kind of scheming and doing things in the dark, and she also doesn't have any moral qualms about doing some particular things, or some things which I guess society would find questionable, that makes me love her even more. I'm gonna be totally honest here, because I've really had it with Goody Two Shoes characters, that kind of thing. I really go on my way to avoid those kind of series as much as possible nowadays, because it just doesn't interest me as much. I'm sorry, but I really can't handle your classic cartoony or shonen-y sort of politically correct and really power of friendship, power of doing the right things, justice, that kind of thing. I don't really go for that kind of thing anymore. So the fact that Makima is here, clearly ruthless, clearly scheming, clearly willing to throw other people's lives away in order to accomplish a goal, I dig it. I dig it. Now, again, I think I've mentioned this before in previous episodes while talking about Makima as well. I sincerely hope that she doesn't go down like the crazy evil lady route. You know, a la like Yagami Light or something of that sort. You know, if you have something that you feel you need to do, right? If you think the end justifies the means, you're that kind of character, then stick to it. Don't just like. I sincerely hope that they don't like try to whitewash her into being like an angel, nor do I want them to like make her into a complete villain antagonist, and then, you know, it turns out that this is all for her own ego, and she's trying to do something entirely crazy and whatnot. Like, neither one of those sides I really want them to go into. Like, I think it would be great if we could just have a character that does questionable things but truly believes that what they're doing is correct, and you know, and for them to turn out to be correct at the very end, right? Like, and like if as a result of Makima's leadership, of the things that she did, it leads to them apprehending the gun devil, locking him in away for good, and ending this menace on humanity. That would be great. That would be absolutely great, right? Now, I don't I don't know how this is going to end, like, and certainly don't spoil me. I'm certain that probably most people don't know either. This is an ongoing series after all, but that is my hope for Makima's character. And yeah, like, I just love the fact that she seems so OP and yet still so calm and serene and elegant at the same time, right? Definitely love that about her. Let's see, what else about this? As for the overall, like, world setting and whatnot, it is what it is. Like, I still, you know, to this point, have some misgivings or have some question marks in regards to concept type devils. But on the other hand, though, like, someone did explain to me that we're really only touching the surface about like what devils actually mean or represent, and the entire, I guess, ecosystem or the actual world building aspects of this world, right? We really haven't really gotten into that all that much. So far we only know there's devils. Humans can make contracts with devils to utilize their powers, and there's human devil hybrids, and that's pretty much it, right? Like, where do devils come from? What do devils have like a prime directive that they need to follow? So what do they want to get from all of this? What do they want to get from humans? Is there a case where well, I guess it's already been implied that most devils would be wanting to eat humans, whereas there are some that would, like the angel devil, that's kind of neutral towards humans. But beyond that, like, no, I want to know more, right? Like, what is the lore behind them and whatnot, and what is actually happening here? And, you know, devils, like, is literally everything a devil, or you know, how are they created? How are they born? And, you know, how do they get reincarnated, rebirth, like whatever it is that propels them forward, and what kind of energy that they're using. How do you determine the relativistic sort of like power levels of them? Those are all questions I have, right? But you know, it's not really properly explained here, which is fine. I definitely feel that this is more of a vibe. There are certain scenes and certain situations where they're just wanting you to sort of like vibe with the anime instead, right? Just to immerse yourself into that kind of feeling and not really think too much about anything else, which I can respect. But, you know, as me and as someone who stylizes my videos into this sort of way where I specifically go out of my way to review stuff and think about stuff, it definitely leaves some food for fun. It leaves some questions on the table, right? But hopefully these will be answered in the future. Once again, I'm fully expecting there to be a follow-up to this. So we'll just have to wait and see. And so yeah, and that pretty much concludes everything about ChainsawMan. Thank you guys for coming along. I'm sure that some of you are here for the first time. Feel free to check out my other stuff. I don't do too many animes nowadays, but you know, I still do some. And we are just about to start the next season, right? So do look out for that as well. And you know, if you're not really interested in anything else, that's totally fine as well. But hopefully, I will be able to see you guys again once, you know, hopefully, fingers crossed, a second season of this comes in. And yes, definitely, I will continue to be watching it because I do enjoy it. So there you go. Thank you guys, and I will see you guys next time. Happy New Year, and take care. Bye-bye.